What a night, what a moment. SummerSlam 2025 will forever be etched in the annals of WWE history as the night of the ultimate betrayal, the most shocking heist we have ever witnessed. The WWE Universe inside that sold-out stadium was on a roller coaster of emotions, experiencing the highest of highs and the lowest of lows within a matter of minutes. For those new to our world, imagine winning the lottery, only to have the winning ticket snatched from your hands moments later. That is precisely what happened on this fateful evening. The air was electric, filled with the cheers for a returning hero, but that electricity would soon turn into a current of pure, unadulterated shock that left everyone, including myself at the commentary desk, absolutely speechless. The main event was a story of redemption, a tale years in the making. CM Punk, the best in the world, had finally climbed the mountain once again, capturing the World Heavyweight Championship in a brutal, hard-fought contest. The crowd erupted in a deafening roar, a symphony of joy for a superstar who had overcome so much to reach the pinnacle. Confetti rained down from the rafters, the new champion raised the title high above his head, and it felt like the perfect storybook ending to the biggest party of the summer. But in WWE, the story is never truly over until the final bell rings, and sometimes, not even then. Little did anyone know, a predator was lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This predator was none other than Seth freaking Rollins. For months, Rollins had been carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase, a golden ticket that grants its holder a championship match anytime, anywhere. He had until June 2026 to make his move, but Rollins is not a man known for his patience. He is an architect, a visionary of chaos, and he had been watching, plotting and waiting. He had made a chilling promise, a vow that as long as he was around, CM Punk would never have a lengthy, celebrated reign as champion. It was a promise many dismissed as arrogant bravado, the typical trash talk between rivals. We were all wrong. As CM Punk soaked in the adulation of the fans, his body battered and bruised from the preceding war, the familiar, sinister music of Seth Rollins hit the speakers. The cheers of the crowd immediately turned to a chorus of boos and confused gasps. Rollins didn't walk to the ring, he sprinted, a man possessed, his eyes burning with a manic intensity. He wasn't dressed to compete, he was dressed for a mugging. This wasn't about a fair fight or a wrestling match, this was about opportunity, about cruelty, and about making a statement that would send shockwaves through the entire industry. The perfect ending was about to become the perfect crime. Let's rewind the clock, but only by a few minutes. CM Punk's championship victory was a moment of pure, unadulterated triumph. He had gone through an absolute war to win that title, leaving everything he had inside the squared circle. The fans believed in him. They had traveled from all over the world to see him achieve this dream, and when the referee's hand hit the mat for the 3 count, the stadium felt like it was going to lift off its foundation. It was the culmination of a long, arduous journey, a comeback story for the ages. For approximately 5 minutes, CM Punk was on top of the world, the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, the hero who had reclaimed his throne. Those 5 minutes were pure bliss for the voice of the voiceless and his legions of followers. He clutched the championship to his chest, the physical embodiment of his life's work. The emotion was palpable. You could see the tears welling in his eyes as he looked out at the sea of humanity chanting his name. This was his moment. This was his vindication. He had proven all the doubters wrong and had once again reached the summit of professional wrestling. In that brief window of time, all was right in the world for CM Punk. He was the champion, he was the man, and he was the hero of SummerSlam. It was a beautiful, fleeting scene of victory. But just as quickly as the celebration began, it was violently interrupted. Seth Rollins, a blur of motion and malice, slid into the ring like a viper. Before Punk could even process what was happening, Rollins blindsided him. The first blow came from the Money in the Bank briefcase itself, a sickening thud of steel connecting with the back of the already exhausted champion's head. Punk crumbled to the canvas, his 5-minute paradise instantly transformed into a living nightmare. The crowd's cheers turned to a collective gasp of horror. This wasn't supposed to happen. This was a flagrant act of disrespect, a cowardly attack on a man who was in no condition to defend himself. The assault was relentless. Rollins, fueled by a deep-seated animosity, didn't stop with one shot. He repeatedly slammed the heavy briefcase into Punk's back and ribs, each impact echoing through the arena and drawing a pained groan from the audience. He was systematically dismantling the new champion, ensuring there would be absolutely nothing left in the tank. This was a mugging in plain sight. After the brutal beating, Rollins screamed at the referee, shoving the briefcase into his chest and officially declaring his intention to cash in his contract. The bell rang, and what was once a celebration had now become a public execution, with Punk's championship reign hanging by a thread after only 5 minutes. With the bell officially ringing to start the impromptu match, the outcome felt like a foregone conclusion. CM Punk struggled to get to his feet, his body screaming in protest, his equilibrium completely shattered by the briefcase assault. He was operating on pure instinct, a warrior's heart refusing to give up, but his spirit was writing checks his body simply could not cash. Seth Rollins stood across the ring, a sadistic grin plastered across his face, savoring the moment of his master plan coming to fruition. He stalked his prey, circling Punk like a shark that smelled blood in the water, knowing that the championship was mere seconds away from being his. The referee had no choice but to let the match proceed. The contract is ironclad. At the commentary desk we were losing our minds. I called it the ruse of the century, a perfectly orchestrated plan of deception and opportunism. This was more than just a cash-in, it was a calculated act of psychological warfare that had been months in the making. My broadcast partners were in agreement, labeling Rollins a villain of the highest order for his craven attack. We watched in disbelief as Punk, using the ropes to pull himself up, showed a flicker of defiance. But it was not enough. As Punk turned around, dazed and defenseless, Rollins charged forward, his boot connecting with Punk's head in his signature finishing move, the stomp. The impact was devastating. Punk's head bounced off the canvas with a sickening thud, and his body went limp. There was no getting up from that. Rollins immediately covered him, hooking the leg as the referee slid into position. 1! The crowd held its breath, hoping for a miracle. 2! The reality of the situation began to sink in. 3! The bell rang again, this time signaling not a triumph, but a tragedy. Seth freaking Rollins was the new World Heavyweight Champion. The confetti that had fallen for CM Punk just minutes earlier now seemed like a cruel joke, littering the mat around the fallen hero and the celebrating villain. As Rollins snatched the championship and held it high, his maniacal laughter echoed throughout the stunned arena. The boos were deafening, a tidal wave of hatred directed at the new champion. But Rollins reveled in it. He bathed in their disdain, for he had done exactly what he said he would do. He had ensured that CM Punk's moment of glory was nothing more than a fleeting memory. This was his moment, built on the broken body and shattered dreams of his most bitter rival. The heist was complete. The ruse of the century had been successfully executed, and a new conniving champion reigned supreme over a landscape of shock and awe. In the aftermath of this shocking turn of events, one couldn't help but look back at the warnings Seth Rollins had issued for weeks. He had proclaimed with unwavering confidence that CM Punk would never truly be the face of the company as long as he, Seth freaking Rollins, was breathing. He promised that any taste of success for Punk would be short-lived. We all heard the words, but few truly understood the depth of his conviction. At SummerSlam, his words became prophecy. He didn't just defeat CM Punk, he humiliated him, turning his crowning achievement into a footnote in the story of his own brilliant, if diabolical, rise to power. It was a masterclass in villainy. The commentary team also had to give credit where it was due, not just to Rollins but to the mind that helped pull the strings behind the scenes. We spoke of Paul Heyman, the special counsel who has been a consigliere to champions for decades. My colleagues and I called Heyman a wizard at the machinations of this game, acknowledging his uncanny ability to see the chessboard from all angles. While Rollins was the one who executed the plan, the fingerprints of Heyman's strategic genius were all over it. It was a reminder that in WWE, the battles are not only won with brawn in the ring but also with brains behind the curtain. And there is no greater mind for the game than Paul Heyman. This moment will be replayed for years to come, a defining highlight in the career of Seth Rollins, and a heartbreaking lowlight for CM Punk. It stands alongside some of the most infamous cash-ins in WWE history, a testament to the unpredictable and often cruel nature of the Money in the Bank contract. It serves as a permanent warning to any champion: you are never safe. At any moment, when you are at your most vulnerable, your reign can come to a crashing halt. Rollins didn't just win a title, he cemented his legacy as the ultimate opportunist, a man who will do whatever it takes to be on top. As SummerSlam 2025 went off the air, the image was unforgettable. Seth Rollins standing on the entrance ramp, cackling as he raised the World Heavyweight Championship, while in the ring, the dream of CM Punk lay in ruins. The 5-minute reign was over. The ruse of the century was complete. A new era had begun, not with a valiant victory but with a stunning act of treachery that left the entire WWE universe asking what could possibly happen next. And that right there is the magic of what we do. It was, without a doubt, one of the most shocking nights I've ever had the privilege to call. Oh my.